Welcome to the Psychology and Physical Training channel. Ever wondered why some people go out of their way to help others, even when there's no reward in sight? This question is at the heart of social psychology's exploration of prosocial behavior, a fascinating aspect of human nature. Prosocial behavior is the term we use to describe voluntary actions that are intended to help or benefit others. It isn't about seeking personal gain or accolades. Rather, it's about making a positive impact on someone else's life. This behavior plays a crucial role in our everyday lives, from simple acts of kindness like holding the door open for someone, to grander gestures like donating to charitable causes. It's a key ingredient in maintaining harmonious relationships, and it also contributes to the stability of our society. Without prosocial behavior, our world would be a very different and likely less pleasant place. Now, let's delve deeper to understand the factors influencing this intriguing behavior. Consider the case of Maggie, who volunteers at a local shelter every weekend. Maggie's actions are a prime example of prosocial behavior, acts carried out with the intention of benefiting others. But what drives her to devote her time to this cause? To understand this, let's delve into the role of empathy and moral reasoning in her actions. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is a powerful motivator for prosocial behavior. When Maggie sees the hardships faced by those at the shelter, she experiences a deep sense of empathy, which motivates her to help. She feels their pain and wants to alleviate it, reflecting her empathetic nature. But empathy alone isn't enough. Maggie's moral reasoning also plays a crucial role. She believes that it is her moral duty to help those less fortunate. The concept of should guides her actions. She feels that she should use her resources and time to assist those in need. This sense of moral obligation is another potent driving force behind her prosocial behavior. Now, let's consider the influence of personal values and social norms. Maggie values kindness, generosity, and altruism. These personal values align perfectly with her actions at the shelter. She believes in the inherent worth of every individual and feels it's important to treat everyone with dignity and respect. Also, the society she lives in promotes helping behavior. Social norms, the unspoken rules of behavior deemed acceptable in a group or society, play a significant role in shaping our actions. In Maggie's community, volunteering and helping others is seen as commendable. This social norm acts as an external validation of her actions, further encouraging her to continue her work at the shelter. So, what can we learn from Maggie's case? Well, it's clear that a combination of internal factors like empathy and moral reasoning, along with personal values and social norms, shape prosocial behavior. So you see, internal factors like empathy and morality play a critical role in prosocial behavior. Now, let's look at a different scenario. Meet Tom, who helped a stranger change a flat tire on a busy road. This story is not about Tom being a superhero, but rather an everyday person who chose to act proactively in a situation where many might choose to remain passive. So what drove Tom to stop and help? Let's delve into some of the situational factors that influenced his decision. Firstly, Tom's sense of responsibility played a key role. Many of us may feel a certain obligation to help others in distress, a kind of unwritten social contract that binds us together as a community. This feeling can be strengthened by empathy, a fundamental human emotion that allows us to understand and share the feelings of others. When Tom saw the stranger struggling with the flat tire, he could empathize with the frustration and helplessness the stranger must have been feeling, which compelled him to stop and offer his assistance. Next, the presence of others, or rather the lack thereof, influenced Tom's decision. The phenomenon known as diffusion of responsibility often occurs when there are many people present. People tend to assume that someone else will step in, which results in no one actually helping. However, Tom found himself on a lonely stretch of the road with no one else in sight. The absence of others made it clear to Tom that if he didn't help, no one else would. Lastly, Tom was influenced by the perceived danger of the situation. The stranger was stranded on a busy road where the likelihood of an accident was high. This imminent threat amplified Tom's sense of urgency and pushed him to act. In sum, Tom's decision to help was not random or solely based on his personal traits. It was shaped by situational factors, his sense of responsibility, the absence of others, and the perceived danger of the situation. This case shows how external factors can also prompt prosocial behavior. Understanding these factors can help us not only appreciate the actions of individuals like Tom, but also inspire us to be more proactive in lending a helping hand when the situation calls for it. So the next time you see someone in need, remember Tom and his flat tire. But what happens when there are many people present during an emergency? Does that increase or decrease the likelihood of help being offered? Let's delve into this conundrum. In the world of social psychology, this phenomenon is known as the bystander effect. The bystander effect refers to the reduction in helping behavior observed when there are many people present in an emergency situation. It's a curious paradox, isn't it? After all, you'd think that with more people around, the odds of someone extending a helping hand would increase. But alas, reality paints a different picture. A chilling illustration of this paradox is the infamous case of Kitty Genovese. In the early hours of a cold March morning in 1964, Genovese was attacked on her way home. Despite her screams for help, none of the reported 38 onlookers, all snug in their apartments, came to her aid. This tragic incident sparked an avalanche of research into the bystander effect. So, why does this happen? Why does a crowd of people turn into silent spectators during a crisis? Two factors are at play here: diffusion of responsibility and fear of negative evaluation. Diffusion of responsibility is a psychological phenomenon where people feel less compelled to act because they believe someone else will. It's a classic case of someone else's problem. In a crowd, everyone thinks, oh, someone else will help, and so no one does. The second factor, fear of negative evaluation, is just as potent. People fear that their intervention might be seen as inappropriate or unnecessary, or that they might fail and become a laughingstock. This fear often paralyzes them, preventing them from taking action. In essence, these two factors create a perfect storm of inaction amidst a sea of potential helpers. The bystander effect is a stark reminder of how our perceptions and fears can overpower our instinct to help others in need. So ironically, the more people present, the less likely it is that someone will step up to help. So why do we help others? Or better yet, why do we sometimes not? As we've seen throughout this exploration of prosocial behavior, the answer is complex and multifaceted, influenced by a myriad of personal and situational factors. Recall that prosocial behavior is the voluntary actions intended to benefit others. We dove into two case studies that painted a vivid picture of how this behavior manifests in real-life situations. We saw how empathy, mood, and even our perceived similarities with the person in need can spur us into action. On the flip side, we also examined how factors such as time pressure, fear of negative evaluation, and diffusion of responsibility can hinder our willingness to help. The latter, a phenomenon known as the bystander effect, is particularly paradoxical. It's curious, isn't it? The more people present during an emergency, the less likely we are to help, as we assume that someone else will step in. Yet, it's important to remember that while these factors can influence our behavior, they don't determine it. We each have the capacity to act compassionately, to extend a helping hand when we see someone in need. And even seemingly small acts of kindness can have a profound impact. In closing, understanding the ins and outs of prosocial behavior and the bystander effect isn't just a fascinating journey into the human mind. It's also a roadmap to a more compassionate society. By recognizing the factors that can inhibit or encourage our willingness to help, we can work to foster a culture of cooperation and empathy. We can challenge the bystander effect, step up when others step back, and remember that our actions hold power. Because in the end, every act of kindness counts. After all, helping one person might not change the whole world, but it could change the world for one person. Understanding these factors can help us promote prosocial behavior and create a more compassionate and cooperative society. Because in the end, every act of kindness counts. And if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe and follow the Psychology and Physical Training channel for more videos. Thank you for watching.